whether you're in Florida, whether you're in Minnesota, you're in New Mexico, California, Washington, any liberal or conservative state, we're going to provide.
Muss ich erst mal gucken, wie das klingt.
You deserve it as an American.
Wie hört sich das an?
And that's what it seems like. The people that come to all-family policy are the no nonsense Americans, aren't they? They're not going to put up with crap, are they? No, they don't want to either, right? They just want pricing transparency. They want access, and they just want to be prepared. They don't want politics inside of their medicine. They just want to be prepared. They just want a safe, secure transaction. They just want it to be convenient and easy to them. It shouldn't be this way in medicine.
Okay, check this out.
Father and the children should have access to medications like this ahead of time. That way you're not scrambling at the last minute when you wake up and one of your kids is sick, whether they have the flu, sinus infection, whatever the case may be, this new parasite infection.
Wir erwarten die Speech of Destiny von Donald Trump. Worauf hoffen wir? Wir hoffen auf Status Quo, was die letzten 5 Tage bestimmt hat. Natürlich der Krieg, wann ist er zu Ende, wie geht er aus, wann kann man sich den Sprit wieder leisten, wann kehrt Frieden ein, warum können die immer noch kämpfen, obwohl es doch schon beendet eigentlich ist, obwohl die Navy on the ground of the floor liegt. Okay, was ist da los? Und natürlich The Golden Age. We want the Golden Age. Hä? Okay, und bis es soweit ist, um uns einzustimmen auf den Mindset, lesen wir ein paar Trump-Tweets auf Deutsch übersetzt. Die Straße von Hormuz ist offen und wird offen bleiben, mit oder ohne den Iran. Wir führen die Iran-Blockade wieder ein, die so genannt wird, weil sie nur die Schiffe oder Kunden des Iran am Ein- oder Auslaufen hindert. Alle anderen Länder werden die Meerenge fair und offen nutzen können. Sehr gut. Die USA werden ab diesem Zeitpunkt als der Wächter der Straße von Hormuz bekannt sein. Aber als solcher und aus Gründen der Fairness mit einer Gebühr von 20% auf alle verschifften Ladungen entschädigt werden. Für jegliche und alle Kosten, die notwendig sind, um für die Sicherheit und den Schutz dieses sehr unbeständigen Teils der Welt zu sorgen. Der Prozess und die Aufstellung werden unverzüglich beginnen. Okay, ist es jetzt gerade? Dies ist die schreckliche Vorderseite des Weißen Hauses und so sieht es schon seit Jahren aus. Der Zustand ist erbärmlich, genau wie unser Land es war. Als ich es vom schläfrigen Joe Biden übernommen habe. Die radikalen linken Demokraten kritisieren mich dafür, dass ich so viel Zeit damit verbringe, unser Weißes Haus wieder in den Glanz von vor 100 Jahren zurückzuversetzen. Tatsächlich wird es weitaus besser als das sein und sie werden uns nicht dafür beschämen, dass wir unsere großartigen und brillanten Denkmäler der Vergangenheit und der Zukunft wieder auf ein nie dagewesenes Niveau bringen. Das ist es, was wir in ganz Washington DC tun, auf andere Weise mit unserem Land selbst. Das Weiße Haus war eine Peinlichkeit, ob Sie es glauben oder nicht. Eine der größten treibenden Kräfte für die Arbeitsplätze der Zukunft sind Rechenzentren. Sie sind groß, stark, mutig und Geldmaschinen für den Bundesstaat, in dem sie gebaut werden. Gouverneurin Katie Hochul hat aus politischen Gründen alle im Bau befindlichen Rechenzentren gestoppt. Diese Unternehmen werden nun von anderen Staaten umworben. Sowohl die Steuern als auch die Arbeitsplätze kommen flüssigem Gold gleich. Der Bundesstaat New York hat eine schreckliche Entscheidung getroffen. Alle diese Einnahmen und andere Vorteile werden an die roten Bundesstaaten gehen und auch an einige blaue, in denen Rechenzentren als Cash-Cows mit niedrigen Steuern und rekordverdächtigen Arbeitsplätzen heiß begehrt sind. Sie müssen für ihr eigenes Wasser und ihren eigenen Strom bezahlen. Alles, was übrig bleibt, geht zurück an den Staat und die lokale Gemeinschaft. Rechenzentren sind enorme Gewinne für die Bundesstaaten und Gemeinden, die das Glück haben, sie zu bekommen. New York sollte seine Politik sofort ändern. Man darf den radikalen linken Dumbos nicht erlauben, dafür zu sagen, dass wir Rechenzentren. Okay, es geht los.
Stronger and far wealthier than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world.
USA,
like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It's just given out. The media reported it, and we accepted the best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America and
Made in America
for our job creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy, because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80
million percent.
TrumpRx.gov. This will ultimately reduce the cost of healthcare. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of healthcare is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that At age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life.
Okay.
So for that, go to trumpaccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child that'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months.
100 years.
0. Nobody thought it was possible. We have the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful
Glaube ich nicht,
by
aber
far anywhere in the world.
das kann man ja
I
checken.
built it during my first term, and unfortunately,
Könnte sein,
has to use it now.
wenn er es sagt.
Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be
Jetzt.
without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. One where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence
Auf die Epstein-Files.
shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you. The American people are beautiful, are great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern.
Releases.
They show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group.
Very deep.
In many cases. And our intelligence agency worked to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling.
Du hast doch noch Bilder mit ihm
The
gepostet.
president and the American people like nobody
Hä?
was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China.
Was?
Yet those responsible for
Der hat doch vorhin noch ein Bild mit ihm gepostet.
the information secret and hidden. They did not
Da hab ich's doch, warte.
president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they
Truth
kept
Social?
saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country.
Donald
The
Trump.
standard
Was war das?
line was divvied out to say the cover-up of this
bin ein
colossal
Mensch.
security breach.
Okay,
is
warte.
more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration in our 2020 campaign. They did not
Da waren sie das
want
Dream
it.
Team.
They just didn't
Das ist noch
want
nicht
it.
lange
They
her.
fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in
Da?
mid-2018,
Vor 2 Tagen.
Communist Party's policy was
Noch eins. Noch eins.
and foreign elements that were opposed to
Aber er
the
guckt schon sehr kritisch.
in an effort to reduce the US president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the US midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence
State
US
of China.
consumers to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could.
China will doch, dass du...
They said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election. And
Der hat doch gesagt, you will dead country, you're the hardest country. Das hat doch Xi Jinping gesagt. Ich check gar nichts.
And built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the
Ich bin
strongest military
dumm.
anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020.
My English not good, I don't understand.
China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that
China ist für Joe Biden.
significant CIA
Im Jahr 2020.
election targeting were kept out of the
Ich verstehe das nicht. Wenn er 2020, if you were elected in 2020, you weren't president today. What the hell?
the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI.
You would be long gone.
Running, quote, a shadow government
in Miami,
unquote, to keep intelligence
Florida.
about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to
Get the
destroy
bag.
information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bag. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence
To release all Epstein
the FBI
files.
and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden.
Drain
To find
the
those involved in
swamp.
the cover-up and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized
Gumbo.
related data repositories
Wie heißt das?
such as
Mambo.
registration databases
Eintopf.
and other official election websites are most vulnerable to exploitation and
China, Russia, Iran. Was war das? Was war das andere?
The strong top intel at China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm also in mid-2018, China was government one during this period and then checked. It's in America.
Vier waren's. China, Russia, Iran und North Korea.
January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible.
It's your last term.
Today we are releasing.
Why give a
documents that
fuck?
show the CIA have taken reporting on a specific plan to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela, and that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believed that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking, manipulation, and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls. And yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. It took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. We should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away and can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo, voter ID. How simple is that? But have your photo, please. Photo, voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
Das war's.
The president delivering a prime-time national address tonight from the White House saying, quote, no trust equals no greatness when it comes to our elections. The commander-in-chief tonight is classifying critical intelligence showing foreign interference in our elections, including from China. Tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states bought, stolen, or hacked from China, according to the president. You know, this makes a little bit of sense if you look back at 2020. We saw that first administration under President Trump, all that momentum. We saw Joe Biden hiding in the basement trying to do a campaign. We saw a COVID pandemic happen. And then all of this is evidence and receipts right here that we just saw on the Right Broadcasting Network. I believe we have a picture of some of the documents there, or at least some of the information that we are now looking through here at the network. The White House election integrity page right there saying ensuring the integrity of our election is fundamental to the preserving trust in American democracy. Following the 2020 presidential election, concerns about potential irregularities, prompting detailed examinations of the voting processes, data security, and registration practices across multiple states. Now, on that site, it says below you can download key documents and reports addressing key areas of election integrity. President Trump saying tonight, quote, for years Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Does that not sound familiar? Mike Lindell, hopefully he wins that Minnesota governor election. The primary is August 11th. I'm great to see that Mike looks at here on my side. Now, on Truth Social, President Trump's account, maybe within 10 minutes,
Da war er Best Friends mit China. Also irgendwo muss man wissen.
You go to True Social, check out their page there, you can see that right there. Specifically, it says things like vulnerabilities in the U.S. 2020 election infrastructure, specifically saying the judge that U.S. adversaries, including at minimum Russia, China, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure for the 2020 presidential election. Adversaries gaining access to U.S. election-related systems could disrupt the voting process, steal sensitive data, or undermine confidence in the election results. But we do not know whether any of them have specific plans to manipulate election-related systems. The key takeaway, this memo assesses the potential impact of cyber operations against U.S. Infrastructure for the 2020 presidential election, including the voting process and integrity of results. So we'll get back to some more of that information. Of course, tomorrow President Trump said there's a Department of Homeland Security press release.
Was ist mit?
Security. We'll have that press release here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Isn't it interesting? You know, remember those videos that we saw down in Georgia, them hiding the ballots underneath the tables, or we saw in all these different videos, the mule videos, right, where people are stuffing ballots. The COVID pandemic, you gotta vote by mail, everybody. Well, Joe Biden was hiding in his basement. And then when he would show up, there would be 6 people in circles, remember in COVID era? Well, how about that time they had the vehicles pull up and honk their horns at these ridiculous things that were going on? No wonder today, when Chairman Levitt had to take on the fake news press, they were so concerned about the evidence and the receipts and the truth. No wonder. No wonder these networks did not want to air this speech. This is what we're talking about when I say conservative media is the David versus the Goliath. Figuratively speaking. And we know who wins. David does. Figuratively speaking in this situation. And this is why conservative media is here to stay. This is why the American people are trusting RNBN and a number of other conservative outlets out there. People on X and social, we're cutting through the crap. We don't want any more of this mainstream media nonsense. Yeah, such a big megaphone. No, this is the way it's supposed to be. All the BS narratives. No wonder. Tonight, and listen, I like Family Feud. And you might be asking, what the heck are you talking about? Well, one of the networks is deciding to play Celebrity Family Feud instead of their president's speech. There you go, guys. Let's pass to Save America. And if those of you that are loyal viewers that watch every day, obviously we have some huge numbers. We have some huge numbers on July 3rd. We have huge numbers on July 4th. I remember back in the day, right at this desk, we had huge numbers on November 5th, 2024. We're talking in the middle. All these people watching. Well, we're doing this coverage each day, Monday through Friday, right here on Lakeside Broadcasting. It's from that land that is from we the people, from God, family, country, freedom. And you may have heard those that are the loyal viewers, right? I love all you guys out there watching. Thank you so much for doing so. But the loyal viewers every day watching this, that's what we talk about creating every day. And I know sometimes I repeat myself, but holy smokes, you don't need to